Okay, we are recording.
Okay. Hi, Jeff. Here with Jeff Stone today from Douglas Elliman, who is our senior specialist. Jeff, where are you hanging out these days during COVID?
Well, spending a lot of time at the community where I live with my wife, Tom's Point in Port Washington. It's a great waterfront community where we get to hang outside and watch the sunsets and maybe sunrises if we get up early enough. So it's a lot of fun here.
Excellent, excellent. And it must be pretty exciting for you because today is day one of, it's day one of phase 2 in Manhattan, and we're almost at phase 3, I believe, on Long Island. So it should make things a lot easier already.
It is a lot easier. As a matter of fact, I just had an open house at one of my properties, which is an estate at this point. And I'm allowed to show one group at a time. Before, it was by live virtual tour, which did work, didn't work. People had their own thing going on. I prefer taking a video of it prior to anything or at some point and then send it over to them. I have everything professionally done. And if they're interested, then they come by, and because I don't want to have too much traffic going into the property. You know, if they're very interested after seeing the video, then I'll get them in. And that's
absolutely. Jeff, let me ask you, when you're dealing with an estate, because I do know when you're dealing with seniors and it might be, this could have been a senior's place to begin with. When is the best time for the family members to contact you to start thinking about moving somebody that is a senior?
Well, right away, for sure. And I do get a lot of people say, well, I'm not quite ready yet, especially the adult children, if his estate. And I say, well, now is the best time to contact someone like myself. So this way I go in and offer a consultation with all the adult children. And I say, well, look, here's what I do. Here's the referrals I can make with regards to setting you up with the proper professionals and helping you to downsize and to take care of mom or dad's house. And, whether it's a senior move manager, an estate salesperson, tag sale, even a no-law attorney could be very helpful in some cases. But basically, letting them know what you can do to place the home or prep the home for market, which means a deep cleaning, decluttering, depersonalizing. I try not to have any potential clients do too much of a spending on things that aren't really necessary. It's as is, as long as everything's working. Yes, it needs updating, but that's okay. As long as it's clean, depersonalized, everything's organized properly, that's really all that's needed. My job is to market it, and a lot of the times it goes to first-time home buyers. So, it's almost like the full circle of life. One person will be selling, another one will be moving in. I would say millennials, so it's kind of interesting seeing how it all works out.
Excellent. Let me ask you, I see that you have this senior specialist title. What does a senior specialist mean exactly?
Well, I'm specifically trained after taking a very in-depth course offered by the New York State Association of Realtors. And with this continuing education, I learned to work with the 50 and over population. All right. And I bring with me a certain set of tools that I can help guide folks to make the right decisions, especially in this life-changing time in their lives. And that's really what I do. Is I also bring with me professionals, and I these resources I offer to my clients. Again, past professionals that I mentioned earlier. It's a no-law attorney, even connecting with a real estate attorney early on, such as yourself, a tag sales specialist, or somebody just to clean and declutter. That's what I do. I'm specially trained to work with the 50 and over consumer. So that's what it is.
What areas exactly do you cover? Do you just do Nassau County? Do you do all of Long Island? Where's your focus?
Well, I pretty much do everything from Bay Ridge to the Hamptons. I've sold everything in between. Last year, a couple of homes out in East Hampton for, it was an estate, and the adult children hired me, and I marketed the property after giving them good, useful advice of what to do with the home in the meanwhile to prep it. Even if you're not ready to, right now to put it on the market, very rarely are you, but you'll get it readied for that time when it is on, when we do put it on the market. Bay Ridge, same thing. An elderly woman and her adult daughter. I connected with both of them, found them a nice co-op right around the corner in Bay Ridge, and she was very, very happy. She had a two-family house that needed updating throughout, but again, we just had a thorough cleaning. We had a big tag sale, very successful. So
That's great. So Jeff, you really could be integrally involved in almost every step of the process, from prepping it to getting it ready to even market it, right?
Right,
You're in there early on.
yes. The professionals I recommend only people that I trust, that I know do a good job, care as deeply as I do, or they're very passionate about what they do, and they don't worry so much about their payday. They care more about the service that they provide. And any professional I recommend, I always meet them at the house so we can all meet the homeowner together, all right, and act as a team to help that person to sell the family home and to move to a place that's just right for them.
Sure. I assume that with COVID and everything that's gone on here, there's probably a lot of people that would consider putting, family members, having them move into a 50 and over or 55 or 62, whatever the age is, as opposed to going into a nursing home, given the problems that we've seen over the last, couple of months during COVID as a result of the disease going throughout these nursing homes. Certainly private living must be a better choice at the moment.
It is, it's not one size fits all. Everybody has a different way of addressing their lifestyles at this point in their lives. Some people will go to 55 and over communities. I'm well versed with them, the amenities that they offer, the pros and maybe some of the cons, I suppose. Some people want to be further out in the island, say like a two-bedroom bungalow, all right, ranch style. As a matter of fact, one of my clients, they're going to be going to a ranch style home out in Suffolk County, minimizing costs while still being able to enjoy a backyard, front yard, what have you. In a 55 and over community, you don't get the feeling of being isolated, which is very important, especially during this time. But during this time of COVID, I'm specially trained as realtors, what we need to go through to make sure everybody's health and safety is paramount here. All right, I screen everybody so that anybody that comes into those doors has been pre-approved. All right, they're not tire kickers. They're very serious. I'll send them the video first that's been professionally done. And if they still want to see the apartment or the condo or the home, I will set up an appointment and I'll ask the homeowner if you could just maybe go next door or take a little bit of a walk. I don't need much time, but I always sanitize prior and after the showing. And I also ask the buyers to sign the COVID-19 disclosure, the health and safety questionnaire, the fair housing notice, fair housing disclosure, and the New York State seller's disclosure form. And while it may seem a lot of paperwork, it can be, but it's really about your health, my health, the buyer's health, so that everybody goes about it the right way. And I really do that. I try to follow the best of my abilities, anything that's put down by the state of New York.
And give us some ideas. I mean, how many different communities are there to choose from in, say, Nassau County?
There's quite a bit of 55 and over communities, whether they're on the North Shore, South Shore, or Mid-Island. A lot of the times they have different price points. They offer different amenities. Most can be 2 bedrooms, 2 bathroom condos. I find that to be the norm for people moving, relocating. However, some people may prefer to rent instead and kind of get their feel for things afterwards and get a better definite plan together. Some people will relocate out of state. And I'm also a second property and home specialist, right? So I have contacts along the whole eastern border of the United States and Southwest, a lot of these active adult communities. And I know there's something out there for you, all right? And after consulting with you, we narrow where you'd like to go, if it's weather, if it's cost, amenities, which state, tax incentives, all of that goes into the melting pot, if you will, and we develop a strategy together, what may be best for you. So
Right. And then, and now let's just say hypothetically, you're working with somebody, they're not really sure where to go. They're living in New York right now. And they say, hey, Jeff, you know what? I want you to sell my place. And can you also help us get situated in Florida? Is that something that you would be able to do for a client?
absolutely. I do it all the time, whether it's Florida, California, to be closer to the kids. You always have to know where the homeowner is moving to. All right.
Right.
You just don't want to put the home on the market and then all of a sudden, well, where do you want to go? Well, I don't know. And I've come across homeowners at open houses and I've asked the homeowner, so where are you going? Congratulations. They say, I don't know where I'm going. I said, what do you mean? Says, well, isn't your realtor helping you? He says, no, they're just selling my home. And I'm going, so you hired half a realtor. See, I will always find a place for you. And sometimes we can start a little early, even so that you can get a little excited, maybe narrow down where you'd like to be. A couple of times we go out, see places without even your home being on the market. So you feel better about things. There's something out there for you. And once you see a place that is, say, on the market now, may not be later, but at least it's the right community, that's great. That's half the job done. So we concentrate on selling your home when it's in contract, and then we can go look for that place and possibly place an offer on it. Sometimes you do have monies to purchase a place first, but I recommend waiting until you're in contract so you're not pressured into reducing price. Typical real estate recommendations. All right. So again, there's so much out there. You'd be surprised, and it's all ready for you wherever you are in your stage of life. But I always caution, don't wait until it's too late. All right, because I've seen that happen. Unfortunately, sometimes a nursing home may be something that becomes on the future that happens to be where you have to go to. I've seen that. I've seen assisted living communities. Enjoy your life as best you can. You don't know what's happening down the road. All right. If you're thinking about selling now, let's work together on that. If you need a year, that's fine. I've worked with people for up to 2 years before they decided I'm ready now. But during that time, we managed your house to prepare it for sale. We did that just recently, especially during COVID. Well, what are you going to do? Well, everybody was organizing. Everybody was decluttering. That was free time that you had to do. Don't wait until it's too late because you don't know what's coming around the corner. So,
Jeff, let me ask you, a lot of times clients come to me and they'll say, I had a spouse, a sibling, a parent that's now deceased and they're looking to sell the property, or they might be terminal and they might be wanting to plan. And I'll say to my client, listen, you need to make sure that as soon as they pass, that you get the appraised value of the property. Is that something that you can help with, whether it's an outside appraiser or just pulling some comps? Because sometimes they need to know what the market value was at the time that there is a death. Is that something that they can call you about?
absolutely. I've done this before for companies, even during the time when the market was way down, just so that it could be a short sale or a bank foreclosure. I would actually run numbers to have accurate appraisals for either companies or for individuals, especially if they want to grieve their taxes. And but this is what I do, and I'm very accurate at it because I just don't look at the surrounding homes that have sold for a certain amount of money, but I go by style, I go by condition, I go by the location of the property. If there's any adverse effects to the house, if it's next to a laundromat, for instance, or next to a gas station, I check everything out to make sure the price I do give you is very accurate, because after all, it is your probably the biggest financial investment that you have, and you need every dollar of it to move forward. So.
Fantastic. So whether or not it's a new home, an old home, your parents, your own, really, I mean, while you have your expertise, you really can jump in at any spot of this equation and be able to help somebody out. Is that right?
Absolutely. I've seen pretty much everything, but nothing surprises me today. I've seen everything, and I've seen some very tough situations, and I've seen some really great people that have risen to the occasion and decided to take advantage of what's out there. And I try to let people know, while you still can physically be involved in the process of selling and moving, I recommend doing that now instead of later. Because again, I've seen not so good things happening down the road. But right now, with the market as being up where it is, especially with short inventory, it really is a great time to put your home in the market. We need properties like yours. And I know there's a lot of buyers that are out there, especially with the low rates today. Let me tell you something. It's a win-win for everybody.
It sure is. All right. Well, Jeff, always great seeing you and talking to you. And, I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that would enjoy your services. And hopefully you'll be able to provide that information on where everybody can reach you and be available the next time somebody needs to list or buy.
Yeah, just one thing, Jamie. I started this SRES journey, if you will, because of my own mom needing to age in place. And sometimes that's the other alternative. And I offer professionals that can help an individual safely habitate or live within their own homes. All right. So I've done that. But because of my mother, I learned there's a whole big world out there. And there are people like myself that have all these professional resources to offer. We work well with the older clientele, and it's not for everybody. Just because you have a real estate license doesn't mean you're qualified, or even if you're of that age doesn't necessarily mean you're qualified either. I mean, if I'm going to go to a doctor for a specific ailment, like my cardiologist, I'll go to him because, I need assistance. I need help in that area. I'm not going to go to an orthodontist or anything else. I mean, I'm going to go to the right person, and that's what I do. And the the National Association of Realtors recognized me as the best seniors real estate specialist in the nation in 2014.
Wow.
Right down to the international convention and down to New Orleans, and picked up my fancy Tiffany candy dish. And but that was it. So I really put my money where my mouth is. I put one foot in front of the other, and I get to where I'm supposed to be. And just dedication, perseverance. I'm very passionate about what I do. People recognize that, but I'm also a straight shooter. I'm not going to steer you wrong.
Absolutely. And Jeff, look, we've done a couple of deals together, and I know how you work with people, and you really are extra thorough and responsive and patient, beyond very important in this business.
Well, as we are talking right now, I have another client for you, so we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Sounds good, Jeff. I look forward to it. And
Jamie, you are the best, and I know you're so busy. You give a lot to this industry. I took a lot of courses from you online, and I really appreciate that. I just want to say that.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, I appreciate you, and that's why I took out the time to speak with you and hopefully provide some good information for your audience. And lots of people out there hopefully will contact you. And Jeff's great, and I give him my full vote of confidence. And hopefully I get to see you again soon, Jeff.
Thank you, Jamie, very much. Take care.
All right. Nice to see you. Take care.
You too. Bye now.
Bye.